Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A jury has taken 5 hours to find 2 men accused of a revenge-style shooting of a 27-year-old not guilty of all charges. Outside the court, the pair today telling of the immense toll the trial has had on them and their families.
After standing in the dock for more than a week, today Marcus and Jacob Williams walked from court free men.
Thank you.
A jury deliberating until the final moments of the day to return a majority verdict for the accused pair, not guilty on all charges. Both men thankful their 11-month ordeal is now over.
It's got a massive toll on myself and our families, but we've really stuck together and got the result that we wanted.
The pair, unrelated to each other, were charged by police for allegedly shooting Kurt Jenkins in the leg in January this year after hearing rumours the 27-year-old had doused Jacob Williams' former partner and son in petrol. However, both maintained their innocence throughout the trial, and today the jury agreed. As the judge told the men they were free to leave, both stood up in the dock and hugged each other.
What will you be doing now? Can you give me an idea of what you'll be doing? Going home to party, have a good one, spend time with the family.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Wild winds are battering parts of the state, causing damage and cutting power. At East Devonport, power lines came down over homes and roofing was ripped off. A nearby weather station recording gusts in excess of 100 kilometres an hour this afternoon. In Launceston, winds topped 70 kilometres an hour, peeling back the roof of a business. The Bureau of Meteorology says conditions are expected to ease this evening. A $50 million development to help prop up the ailing health system has taken a hit, with the Hobart City Council knocking back plans for a new private hospital. Health workers say the public system needs all the assistance it can get, hoping planning issues can be overcome.
Proposed designs for a $50 million investment into our health system, looking at transforming a site on Newtown Road into a private hospital with 6 operating theatres and an overnight ward.
It was made quite clear to the proponents that this was unlikely to get planning approval, and yet they still went ahead.
The Hobart City Council voting 8-2 last night to reject the development application, citing criteria such as traffic concerns, building height and size, as well as general non-compliance with their planning scheme.
It has rules which, whilst there are discretions, really the discretions just pushed too hard and too far on this occasion.
It's a blow for health workers looking for more support to deal with pressures on public hospitals.
We would support the proposal for another health service provider within the Greater Hobart region, but we fully respect that there needs to be a process that is undertaken through the council in the planning phase.
The government says that while the decision is up to the council, the private sector is a vital part of the health system.
We have not only a very strong public system, and we need to invest more as we're doing into that, but also to have a collaborative effort by the private sector that can provide support.
But ultimately we would hope that those challenges and concerns that may have been raised can be worked through to enable the project to ultimately go ahead.
The local neighbours are willing to work with the operators, with the proponents, but at this stage, unless it goes to appeal, they'll need to start from square one.
Nexus Hospitals, the company behind the proposal, was contacted for comment. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Tas Racing has faced scrutiny in Parliament as politicians questioned the welfare of retired racehorses. The state-owned company was asked about exactly where the animals have ended up off the back of interstate scandals.
A fiery first day of a week of scrutiny for government businesses.
Question about how many horses have been 4 different attempts at the same question.
Tas Racing questioned over its off-the-track program for ex-racehorses and just how many animals it's helped. The tracking of retired racehorses in the spotlight across the country after revelations interstate of some being sent to abattoirs.
An owner was being told that there was no program in place, so they weren't taking on horses. But you're saying this has been 12 months now and there's 500 horses registered?
To my knowledge, there was no restraint on any horses being accepted unless there were too many horses in the clinic.
The CEO admitting there's no single summary of those numbers. And for rehomed horses, some records only started being kept in July.
We did not keep detailed records of that particular information prior to that. And that's one of the challenges that we had with the way that the off-the-track program was run.
In another hearing, Aurora revealed more Tasmanians have needed help paying their power bills.
The total number of payment plans put in place in 2018-19 was 106,000. That was an increase of 3.2% in the prior year.
People are struggling to pay their bills, and we know that the government needs to do more to ensure that Tasmanians are able to deal with the cost of living.
But in positive news, it was announced our newest wind farm is now open.
63,000 households will benefit in terms of the equivalent of that electricity outcome from the Cattle Hill wind farm, 48 turbines, a $300 million development.
Taswater will front hearings tomorrow. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
In the spirit of giving, Tasmanians are being urged to donate to vital medical research into cardiovascular disease. Researchers gathering today to launch a fundraising appeal aiming to raise $25,000.
We know that our clinicians across the community, whether they be in a hospital setting, in general practice, working in other allied health areas, they can see the impact of vascular disease across so many members of our community.
We'd like to do better, so we need to see what the picture is, paint it better, to then go in and do better. That's the aim.
Funds would go towards research into understanding and managing risk factors of cardiovascular disease. Flights from Launceston to Adelaide and turning Hobart into a cruise ship starting point are among the new plans to bring more visitors to Tasmania. A draft master plan has been unveiled for the state's major northern airport, while the government is looking at ways to bolster the cruise ship market.
They bring thousands to Tasmania, but Tasmanians can't board the cruise ships arriving in Hobart. That could change if Hobart is turned into a turnaround port.
And a turnaround port is where the cruise starts and finishes. So your hundreds of passengers come on to start their cruise at that location and they come back and they get off.
Holland America Line will run a rehearsal group with passengers next year. The trial is music to the government's ears.
Around $48 million injected into our economy last year alone by cruise ship visitation.
Meanwhile, a new report has found an extra 152,000 people flew into the state over the past year. Hobart Airport says it remains fixed on finding new international routes.
So we are exploring a couple of options, so a trans-Tasman option and also an Asian option.
A new master plan for Launceston Airport is also aiming to land up to 1.9 million passengers by 2028.
And more like 2.5 million by 2040.
To do that, they're planning an overhaul of lounges and terminals. The 20-year plan will also look at expanding freight services. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Organisers of a Tasmanian music festival are pulling the pin on the event. They've announced next February's Party in the Paddock near Launceston will be the last. Over 8 years, the event has grown to become a major summer event, attracting international artists. But organisers say it takes energy and passion to make it happen, and now they're ready to tackle other projects. They're promising to go out with a bang next year. If you like your crayfish or salmon and don't struggle with seasickness, this might be the cruise for you. A group of Hobart fishermen has launched a flashy new catamaran promising to pluck seafood from the deep and put it straight on the plate.
So to come down, jump on board with the locals who know the areas, know the waters, know how to get the best fresh seafood, that's one of the greatest appeals that we've got to offer.
The 4 to 5 hour cruise will sail down the Derwent River to Bull Bay on Bruny Island. Months of hard work have paid off for Tasmania's aspiring actors and directors. Winners of the My State Film Festival today stepped into the spotlight. Some, like Hobart College's Amara Gantz, received recognition for animated work.
I love telling stories, and I love using music in stories to, tell what a story I want to. And yeah, I wanted to make it my career, and I love bringing characters to life.
This year, nearly 300 films were submitted by 1,300 students from more than 80 schools.
Welcome back to Penstock Lagoon, where day 2 of the World Fly Fishing Championships has just wrapped up. Tough conditions on the water today, but a leading Tasmanian says he's coping just fine. Anglers were bracing for changing conditions on Penstock Lagoon, and they got it. A true blue summer's day became persistent precipitation bordering on snow in the space of 20 minutes. The Czech Republic had taken the early lead in the competition. The team reeled in 48 fish on day 1, including the second longest at a mammoth 583 millimetres. The Aussie contingent was 6th heading into today's proceedings. Robia's John Stagg believes they coped better than most on the water today.
Warmer weather's much nicer, it's a lot better. The insects respond, which mean the fish that respond. But they're there, you've just got to use different techniques than what you'd probably like to.
Finland, Slovakia, England and Italy have all started strongly. The sport's international body is impressed with the standard.
The guys that are here, they are the best of the best, really. They have all gone through a selection process in their own home countries.
But it was a mixed bag between nations coming off the water today.
So, go USA, cracked it. And the Kiwis suck, so sorry about that.
The sentimental favourites from Kiribati are still adapting.
I want to see the snow, but when I get the snow, I don't like it. No.
While the Tasmanians love having the world's best in their backyard.
It's really special. It's amazingly special. This is my 11th World Championship, and I've never been in the Southern Hemisphere, let alone my own state and my own backyard, really. So it's really, really special. I'm up against the best anglers in the world, but they're here in my territory, and so far it's going pretty well.
Hobart Hurricanes bowler Belinda Vakawira has been named in the Women's Big Bash League's team of the tournament. She took 20 wickets in 13 matches. Her best figures were 4 for 19 against the Sydney Sixers. The Canes finished the season with 4 wins from 14 matches.
Good evening. Maximum temperatures today mostly sat between 2 and 7 below average, but some Western Alpine stations were up to 13 below normal. Hobart 16 degrees, Launceston 19, Burnie 17 and Devonport 18. 21 the maximum at St Helens, while the overnight low was -3 on Mount Wellington. Low Head 16 today, King Island, Smithton and Strawn 15 degrees, Flinders Island and Ouse 14, Grove a high of 12. Low level cloud moved quickly over the state today. Parts of the east and north a bit clearer. Mount Bob's the highest rainfall with 19 millimetres to 3 p.m. Meanwhile, a cold and unstable air mass lies to our west and over Victoria. Low cloud over the Bight, thunderstorm activity prevalent over the tropical north. Tomorrow, the large but fairly weak high pressure system moves over South Australia. The trough continues around the mainland. The strong westerly stream is maintained over Tasmania tomorrow, 20 to 30 knots over the west and east, stronger over the north and to 40 knots over southern waters with a 6-metre swell. Gale warning from Sandy Cape to St Helens Point and from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point. A strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters and over the inland lakes. We also have a warning to sheep graziers for a number of districts and a bushwalkers alert for the Central Plateau and the western areas. So windy for everyone tomorrow. Throw in a shower over Hobart and Geeveston, a top of 13 for Bothwell with a possible shower. Launceston, cloudy but mainly fine, windy 17, 16 for Devonport, cloudy for Cressy, 16 the maximum. Burnie tomorrow, a top of 15, a possible shower. Showers for Strawn on 13 degrees and 15 the top for Curry on King Island. St Helens, partly cloudy and 19, 17 for Swansea, a windy day for Orford and 16. The UV, very high despite the rest of the forecast. On Thursday, strong westerlies again with showers more prevalent over the west, central and south. The wind continues to blow on Friday, bringing showers to the west and south again, and on Saturday those showers over the west and south will decrease somewhat. Mostly sunny and 36 in Perth tomorrow, 23 in Adelaide, a morning shower for Melbourne, sunny in Canberra, 24 there, smoke haze over Sydney, hot and sunny in Brisbane. Cloudy and cool in Hobart, 9 degrees, 13 in Launceston at the moment and 13 right now in Devonport. And as we saw, Tom Johnson on Penstock Lagoon has plenty of snow to deal with tonight, but that snow will lift over the 1,000-metre mark tomorrow. Conditions will ease somewhat, but the temperatures are still going to sit below average right through until the weekend. They're warming up on Sunday with temperatures in the mid to high 20s, so that's something to look forward to. And the easing of the winds is going to be something to look forward to as well, Joe. They blew so hard today, I saw a chicken lay the same egg 3 times.
I wondered if that joke might come out tonight. Thank you very much for that, Murph. We'll all look forward to Sunday.